おはようございます。JCC の日本語クラスです。
They get the like 500-pound bluefin tuna. They at the New Year they go into the market and they charge like $500,000.
And that Tsugaru name comes from one of those two rival clans that were fighting each other in that area. The Tsugaru more so in the western area here, the Nanbu clan more so down here in what would be later Iwate Prefecture, which we'll get to in our Michiko Wendy travels eventually. Any other questions anybody wanted to ask? Or okay, then who would like to practice first? I'm overwhelmed by your enthusiasm. So, Kevin-san?
The first line, Wendy-san?
Would you want to just practice the conversation with somebody else as in going through? Okay. Who would like to join?
I'll just say Wendy.
Sure. Anybody like to be our Michiko-san?
Be what? Oh, Michiko.
Yeah.
Okay, Michiko-san. I see.
Sure. Would you like to, Laura?
I guess I can. I'll give it a shot.
I'm not the executioner here. We're just
I went last week. I'm letting other people go.
Okay, fair enough. That is valid.
I think I went last week too.
You can repeat, it's okay.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah,
ask a question?
Absolutely. Yeah.
When it's my turn, okay, it's the second set of,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
So it's always by virtue of the
Yeah.
name with the colon there.
Yeah, I just saw the Michiko and I was thinking there was a colon too, but I realized there's none, so
No
go ahead.
Okay. Michiko-san, 青森県に行ったことがありますか?
Okay, G,
G.
Su, Wa, I, Ta,
Yep.
Ko, To, Ga, Ri, Mo, Ma, Sa, Se, Sen, Wa, Ue, oh yeah, Ue, trying to remember the, oh my goodness.
This little bit is true. This is the katakana.
That's katakana sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like the she and it's like the su, but it's not. Give me a minute and I'll
No worries.
remember. Or maybe a hint. I guess I could try to peek. It's not.
So, more similar to this.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, right. It's. Yeah.
Because the one where it's sort of cutting a bit, the little line is cutting more towards the top end of the lower slanting part is n. When it's facing down, that's
Okay,
so.
and I'm gathering now that's Wendy-san.
Hi.
And then
Wa. Because it's that version of it is essentially asking the same question in reverse to Wendy-san. Have you been to Aomori Ken before? Without having to say that a second time because it's already assumed. The same way how in English you might just say someone's name to imply I'm repeating the question without actually having to say it. Like, oh, have you seen this movie before? No. Have you? It's assumed that you're saying, have you seen this movie before either? But you don't have to say that because it's already, sort of priced into the sentence. Very good. Something to continue?
いいえ。でもアメリカで青森について読みました。
ありがとうございます。
say me. Oh, I'm still being okay.
If you want to.
I'll try. Honto.
Maybe scroll down the hiragana.
Is it not visible?
No, it is. Hanto u de su ka. Oh, hanto
Honto
This.
desu ka?
desu ka. Sorry.
It's okay.
De wa
Mhm.
iru.
Iro.
Iro.
Because ru
Right, has
this,
the little
circle.
circle at the bottom, right? Iru.
Iro. Iro.
Iro. Iro. Iro. She.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
Is
oh
is,
she.
is
Yeah, oh she e te ku de
Da.
da sa I wow.
Ne.
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 Oh really?
Because
Oh
wa
yes,
Cause
ne.
wa-
I do, yeah.
has that, and then ne is.
Okay. Sorry for torturing you all, but
No,
I
no,
got
no,
through
no.
it.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Okay.
In fact, I'm sitting here and I'm always thinking, you have remarkable discipline. Because I just
Yeah.
look down. Like, I think
Well-
it takes discipline to just
I
I
stick to
figured
it.
this is the only way I'll learn it, so.
Right, that's great.
Okay. Wendy, who knows how to read.
You seem really kind. 次見ました帰り、渡るに行く前に青森の
これは難しいよ。ちょっと。
名物
Mebutsu. It's well,
Mm,
that's very
yes,
often well known, but
yes.
this is a more advanced
What is it?
word.
What?
Mebutsu.
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 Mebutsu を見ましょう。
うん。
Meibutsu means like specialty or a particular something that a famous product of a place. Now, Reta-san, I think we've tortured you enough today.
Or I've tortured you all enough.
No.
Okay.
Would anybody like to dive in and share in the love?
ここですよね、さっきの。
そうそうそう。
っていうかなんか元のインテンションが分かんなかった。どういうシチュエーションですかこれ？
わからなかった。
これは何ですかって。So like if the apple has a weird shape, then Michiko-san may not know what it is, but
But usually
What-
an apple is
yeah. So
Right.
I wanted to ask your like how you conceptualize that part.
That they haven't seen the apples yet. That she's asking what is the specialty. Without having seen it already.
So Michiko-san has never seen apple?
No, they're not looking at it yet. It's not, the apple isn't visible yet.
It's not visible to them, so they're asking about what the specialty for Aomori is.
Oh.
It hasn't been
Oh,
clarified.
but it says. What did I change to これは?
Yes, I put nandesuka.
Ah, okay.
名物は何ですかだったらわかりますけど。
あーでも日本人だったら絶対知ってますよね。
I figured that I had Wendy-san be the person who didn't know something for nearly every other episode.
Yeah.
So I wanted to throw her a bone that, hey, look, it's something that she knows actually this time.
Ah, okay.
I'm going to go on the very unlikely assumption that a Japanese person wouldn't know that aomori is associated with apples, as unlikely as that is. But I figured I would just, I wanted to give, I didn't want Wendy-san to seem stupid. So
You are getting attached as an author, you realize that, right?
Hey,
You're
hey,
giving them character.
they're real to me.
I see that now.
These are my daughters.
I see that.
You mean Wendy-san isn't just a bakagaiji?
あーじゃあこれ
Michiko is a girl's name?
Ichigo,
Yes.
hi.
Ko is I know like a Latin O ending O is a boy's name, but the Ko is for girls. I think almost all the time. I don't know if there's any
For
boy's name.
Japanese boy, no.
Right?
No,
Yeah.
it's
Ko is
typical.
Yeah.
Like my name doesn't have go, so you don't have to have it, but if you see it, then that's a girl's name.
And very often with this kanji,
I might see less for younger kids because younger kids have all kinds of different, variety of names. But yeah.
So like Yoko,
Yoko.
and Kiko.
Mhm.
Machiko.
To your family.
Yoko is a friend of mine from
Oh,
Japan, and
okay.
she used to come and stay with us. And
Oh, okay.
Kiko may be my grandchild.
Oh.
That's one of the options if it's a girl, or
Ah.
the option if it's a girl.
Leon-san?
Quick comment / observation about once you start learning, because that I'm going through this process of actually starting to get hiragana. When we get there towards the end of Wendy's sentence, after maybe to mimashou, at the end, I got confused because, like, I don't really recognize me or ma because I haven't gotten there yet. But when we got to she there at the end, the transliteration is now starting to mess me up
Correct.
because I looked down and it's mashou, but it should be if it were like completely transliterated mimashio.
Now you see how this yo here is smaller than the others? So what happens specifically with ya, you, yo, is that there'll be there'll be a hiragana that will precede it, like sho in this case, or
Tokyo
Tokyo, exactly. Let me throw that like I'm not brain dead.
Thank you for explaining that to me because I have been wondering about it. I'm like, some look a little bit smaller for no reason that I can discern.
That'll be usually either these or the little tsu, which is different. That's a separate thing.
Is that a long, like, yo?
This is
That's
kya.
kya.
Kya. What that means in this case is that the ya, the little ya, and what comes before it blend into one sound, where the vowel part of this sort of just mysteriously
It takes a
vanishes.
back seat to it.
Right.
It's like this is the important part you have to
Right.
put emphasis on.
And so instead of kiya, it's kya
Kya.
or kya
Yeah.
for your kendo enthusiasts out there.
Kyushu.
Kyushu, exactly. Kyushu is another perfect example. And that's one more case of this where it's not shio, it's sho. And the u at the end, rather than this being a noticeable u, is more functions as an extension
Right.
of the o at the end of
Right. It's
o.
whole.
Right.
Whole.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
Clarifies a lot for me actually.
Can I do the next one though, because it's so short, and I'm just gonna read it anyway, so it sounds like I really can speak naturally a little bit.
You can always speak
Just to, no, but not
Fire away.
butchered, but kori wa nan desu ka? Yeah, for once I feel, like I maybe sound like I should.
Loretta-san, your contributions are always valid and always appreciated, and we would appreciate you being here.
Okay, thank you.
And I never say anything I never say anything unless I'm completely sincere. By the way, did I tell you I got a job at CNN? No.
I know who you are.
Wendy-san.
弁護ですね。弁護は好きですか？
Now, Loretta-san, did you want to just leave it there, or did you want to keep going?
Well, I don't mind giving someone else the opportunity.
Okay. Michelle-san, you rose your hand a little bit.
I can pass on one day.
はい、リンゴって美味しいですね。美味しいです。美味しいですよね。
I've had a lot of book moments myself. ありがとうございます。And Wendy-san,
Or does someone else want to do it? I can pass it.
so you got your chance to read last week. Well, Claudia-san, did you want to try? Or did you? Now, granted, he's brand new, so I don't want to throw him into the deep end too quickly.
No. Throw them in. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's long.
I'm playing good cop here. So now you're just starting, right? Okay. So mean.
No, it isn't. Go for the transliteration if you can.
Yeah.
The hiragana.
ローマ字
Whoops.
It's not mean at all. It's actually, I think, the best thing you can do for somebody starting out. Just dive right in.
So just go off of this highlighted part down. Well, let me move the screen up a little bit.
店に行ってリンゴジュースを飲みましょう。
So one small thing. This would be more
Ju.
Ju, not in pronouncing the J as a J, as though.
Well, I
like
mean,
in English.
not in Spanish
No,
way.
as in English.
Yeah.
¿Tú hablas español? Sí, lo puedo ver en cómo lo pronuncias. Es más un Q que un U. O un Q. Porque si se ve así en español sería Q.
Sí, pero así se escribe, ¿no?
Sí, sí.
And then once more onto the breach. Wendy-san? Me too, I know, me too. You still want to finish it off?
いいですね。
Thank you.
So, we're getting close to the 10:20-ish now. Any final questions before we go on to the to Yuri-san's section?
あそこ変えます、私。意味が分かったから。
何ですか？
何ですかのところ変えます。
Kevin-san?
Yeah.
You wanna say something?
Theリンゴって like what is that?
I'm actually curious about that myself.
リンゴ
That was
って、
not mine.
なんで、何かって。
富士リンゴ。
いや、なんか、I think I didn't change the English part. Right? So, どう説明したらいいんですか？
さっきのダイアログのところですよ。
いや、リンゴって美味しいですよねっていう、
リンゴって
ずと小さいずと手が何かって言われる。
So you all don't know? We're talking about
I mean,
the
it's one of those things
TTE.
where like, you know, like,
This isn't my edition. I thought I
after, like it's one of those
okay.
things like when it's native, like you don't think about it, but like
Yeah.
explain it.
なんか、OK.
I'm confused about something here.
So, like, you could say リンゴは it sounds it sounds like a dialogue-ish. I wanted to make
robotic, like,
it sounds like it's on the textbook.
yeah.
I wanted to make it a little more like real conversation. So maybe it's a casual form of what? But you don't want to use it all the time.
I think リンゴ formally リンゴというのは、リンゴとは。
リンゴは？
リンゴって。
That's probably that sounds reasonable to me.
It sounds
Was it,
it's casual.
My friends asked me, マイアミって暑いですか？ってマイアミって It's Miami hot.
What?
Miami
What?
って It's Miami hot. マイアミって暑いですか？
Instead of saying that as well.
Yeah. Why is okay? But it sounds very
I often heard that
textbook-ish.
from Yusuke.
Yeah. A little like too formal. Like,
But you don't want to use it your boss.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a little question about
Yes.
that sentence. Isn't that a tip in the middle right after Ringo?
Good
Yeah.
question. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
what that does, so that's the other small one that I mentioned. How that functions is like a space, like a literal verbal space, followed by enunciating / doubling up the consonant of whatever happens afterwards. So in this case, that's te. So it'd be ringo te. So there's an extra.
Well, that's complicated.
Yes.
That's
You
complicated.
add an extra to the, in this case, T, of the te after the space.
Do you play any musical instruments at all?
No.
Because like, yeah, it's like if you say like, if you write it, maybe like write it out a little bit. Like you say like, I don't know, like kate versus kate, maybe. Like,
Hang on, let me clear some space so that way I'm not crawling around.
Like I noticed it again that it was a smaller one, So I thought there's got to be something a little weird about that one, but I would have, like, if I had said that sentence out loud, I would have said it, sitte.
Sitteは
It wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, so like that one there on the left side, so that's kata.
型
Kata. And the one on the right side is kata.
型
It's like a slight period
Yeah.
of silence.
Followed by an extra.
It's an emphasis.
Like a double
It's almost like if you want to talk about it like a
You
video
kind of
game.
like stop like the air for a minute.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
It's like input delay. It just, you're gonna get the same thing but with more emphasis.
Yes, but with that little, like half second of empty space.
So, kata, kata.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That complicated thing is the meaning changes. Kata could mean your shoulder, or could mean
That's true.
a molded shape.
Or,
Kata.
I mean, kata, karate is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kata, so
Kata,
that's what I
uh-huh.
think.
Uh-huh. That's right.
Yeah, that was something else I was reading last night. Like, kami has 3 different meanings. It's like hair, God, and
Paper.
Paper.
yeah. I'm like, I was like, all right, great, Japanese people like this.
To me, it's obvious. You're pleasing the hair god with paper.
I see. Paper your hair god.
I mean, that's just the most natural thing in the world to me.
So there comes the kanji. If you know the kanji, they instantly they recognize. Oh,
Right.
God, you're talking about the God, or you're talking about the paper, or your hair.
I realized that, like, after I started looking at the writing system holistically, I was like, okay, the kanji has to exist to distinguish all of these
Right.
homonyms.
Right. It's there is a purpose to it, despite how difficult it is.
Or can you distinguish kako, kako, kako?
Yes, I can. I from hearing it, I can distinguish
Yes,
it,
but
I understand
all
what you
different
mean.
meanings. But you understands the meaning.
Yeah, but somehow you don't get you don't have miscommunication because you feel like, okay, it's a little bit of something, or if it's kami, or then, but you don't, somehow we don't have, I never had a miscommunication
No.
because these are the same. Like hashi has 3 things too. Hashi, hashi, hashi.
And I was gonna ask about that. The other thing too is like kami, or hashi, is like it's the intonation. There's intonation.
Slightly
Yes,
changes, but hashi is chopstick. Hashi
Bridge.
is
Right?
no. I was thinking of edge. So hashi and hashi is a different, like edges of the bridge is a hashi no hashi, right? So
Welcome to Japan.
It's just the
not to scare anybody,
I
but
think it's just that the context is so obvious.
yeah, I
Like,
think
there's
so.
no way you're gonna mistake it. Like, it's like, oh, are we gonna cross the chopsticks?
I think
If you're an ant, maybe.
Maybe.
these are the sorts of things that it seems it's intuitive when more, or at least more intuitive when you're a native speaker versus when it's not your native language. Like to talk shop for a second. One thing that I do is like copywriting, like editing for a eye hospital. And one of the things I notice is that for things like word choice, just which word to use for people who are not native English speakers, they might use something that is.
Say, kami o kirimasu, or kami o kirimasu. Same
Yeah.
pronunciation. It depends on the
I
context,
guess
I
the
guess.
context, yeah, it's important. Okay.
The
Yeah.
last time I
That's
cut God,
thinking
maybe
maybe.
I immediately think of Kill Bill, is the thing. I think of the scene where he's like, if you encounter God upon your path, God will be cut. I was like, oh, damn, it's a powerful story.
There comes if you know the kanji character, you have more meaning, and then it's easier to understand the context.
Yeah, immediately understandable text, I imagine, because of the kanji.
I feel like I should switch seats because right now I feel like I'm like in the dunce chair.
Wherever you want.
I'm memorized it. Just for you, this week. I failed. So, let me see it. I close my eyes, I won't look at it.
Okay.
伊藤は外見によって判断するが、私は心と思いを見るからだ。サムル記16章7節。
Muy bien. Wow.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I know some of you weren't here last. So as you can see, oh, you can see good because sometimes it's cut. Okay, so we looked at this last week. People look at outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. First Samuel. First is Jo, or in Japanese. First Samuel. Well, for this case, because the book. First Samuel 16:7. 16章7節。はい。ということで、this was how, this is how God sees us. But especially this context, we're talking about how David was chosen among all of the brothers. He's the youngest, smallest, doesn't look like a warrior or strong, but God sees him in a very different way, a special way, and David did become king and did wonderful things for God. So, very good.
Thanks. Now I'm going to be annoying because I have a ton of questions. So I don't see the word God in there at all. And like what part translates to but God looks at the heart. So 私は心と思いを from that I understand my heart?
Okay, that's interesting. Okay,
Ko
so
思いwo is like, and I'm lost. So I have a lot of questions about like how exactly it's translated.
yes, so this is God speaking to Samuel.
All right.
That's why.
I had to understand like this isn't from the perspective of like somebody commenting about God because it's like people look at outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. It's got to be God Himself speaking.
So
like, the first
that's
person.
the watashi was God.
Right. Like that's got to be God saying, but I look at the heart.
Exactly.
Right.
So because watashi obviously is I. It means I. So I can say watashi wa Yui desu. So my name is Yui. I'm Yui. But in this context, because God's speaking, watashi is God. But yes, so that and some translation are different, but meaning wise it's the same, right? So God, I look at the heart and the what is it? Omoi is like thinking. Heart is kokoro is heart, and omoi is what you think, or what's inside of you.
Is it kind of more like soul in that context, or like mind, like soul or mind?
Mind. If anything, it's mind. A soul would be a little bit different. Maybe.
Tamashi.
Tamashi.
So it would be like Tamashi.
Tamashi,
So
yeah.
it's damage.
Yes.
Because I pick up a lot listening to Japanese. I unfortunately am not great at reading it.
No, but the tamashi, but in manga? From manga?
No, Evangelion. Yeah,
That's
that word gets brought up there a lot.
Anime? Oh, okay.
The anime, yeah.
Okay, so that's it.
I guess, yeah, you can say I've never read the manga, that's why it didn't come to mind.
Okay, okay, so anime is the animation and the manga.
Sure.
is the-
No, it's like, I didn't get it at the moment because I never read the Eva manga, the manga, but I've seen the anime a few times, so.
Okay.
Just ended recently, didn't it? Like, they came up with the last movie for that.
I have no
I have
idea
no
right
idea.
now.
As long as something can make money, they'll like the Fate series, they'll find a way to crank it out.
Because I'm a nerd, I would assume, like, people would keep up on that stuff over there since it's as big as, like, Star Wars is
Well,
here.
some people do. It's more so that you can make more of it and people will pay for it. That it's sort of like making new Star Wars stuff over here. As long as people will pay for it, then they'll keep making more of it.
I
Well,
think
that's the
that some people here, a lot of people, well, I don't keep up with Star Wars.
You
Star
shouldn't.
Wars, yes.
You shouldn't. It's garbage now. Just don't.
Well, I mean, I don't know
okay.
if that's offensive to somebody,
It
but.
used to be good though.
It used to
Used to be good.
Oh, okay, so the same way, I think. Oh, I mean, it's okay, if you like it's okay, but I mean, some people like certain things, some people like other things, so Evangelion, like my brother, I think he used to like it, but not anymore, but none of my family looks at it, but then some people love it, right?
Right.
Like, this group, I don't think you're the only one, I mean, I don't know, but.
Sure.
So I think it's sort of depends on what it is. Some things are more.
I think Japanese, those cartoons are sometimes too violent for
Really?
for
Kids.
American kids. I think for Japanese kids, there's almost no censorship. They just
That's so
Well,
interesting.
they're too violent for what American parents want their kids to see.
I mean, Japanese cartoon characters, they kill each
Yeah.
other. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
whereas
Yeah.
when American kids just magically find a way to watch the Japanese version of things,
Hmm.
it's not the American kids who think it's too violent. It's the legion of parents.
No, for me, it's just kind of like this is a cultural aside, but it's interesting to think that American parents wouldn't let their kids watch Japanese cartoons because they're too violent. But in general, America is like a very pro-violence.
Yeah.
So it's just funny.
Right. So that's it.
What?
Thanks, NRA.
Okay, we're going to I mean, I have no problem talking about these sort of things, but for the purposes of keeping on track, let's.
Yeah.
Yes. I was just looking at the soul. This one has a different. So yes, when we think about the mind, body, and soul, and heart and stuff, yeah, tamashi is the word, but yes, heart and mind would be the.
Dentro lado.
It says corazón too. And
Corazón.
I mean, I didn't say it right, but corazón.
Coração.
Corazón.
I wonder if that's what the name Curacao is.
Maybe.
Hi, anybody else want to
Portuguese.
try to say it? We can read this part,
I'll try Spanish then.
Oh, sure.
La gente mira la apariencia externa, pero Dios mira el corazón.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
Apariencia.
Only one little note. Exactamente.
Very
Apariencia.
good.
Pero sí, muy bien.
Okay.
Y con el acento estaba
Muy
perfecto.
bien, él habla español.
Ah,
No tanto, no
lo
tanto.
estás haciendo por la primera vez.
Dicen que no, pero sí.
Ah,
Sí.
No tanto como ella.
No.
Can you go over like the words, like hito I know is people,
Yeah.
and gaiken is appearance?
Yes,
External,
gaiken.
outside appearance?
Yes.
I was gonna ask all these.
So when you look at kanji, just so that we can see, these two kanji, gai is first gai is this, ken is this. So Kevin, what does this mean?
Like to look.
To look, right? So and now it's appearance, and this is
Like outside.
outside.
external.
Yes, foreign, outside. Like I think last week we talked about gaijin.
Right.
Gaijin, the kanji gai is this.
Outside.
It's no derogatory. It's just you're out from outside of
person.
Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gaiken is the outside appearance.
Yote is,
According to.
that's what yote is?
Yeah.
In this case.
In this case. Yeah.
And handa?
Handan. Handan って何ですか?
Yeah. I think that would.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you.
Handan. Oh, it doesn't say.
I was guessing people, but that didn't seem right.
No, handan is judge. Like people make
But it's
judgment of,
based on the appearance.
based on outside appearance, outward appearance. But ga makes it like but, right? But
See, that's like completely lost in the English translation of audible.
That's what I was saying.
People look at
Yeah, I like-
outward appearance versus people judge based on
Oh.
Though in this case, you can see how in English, oh, sorry, you mentioned
Oh, no, go ahead.
that look can in English just mean literally look.
Yeah.
But it could also be, like when you
Yeah.
look on something favorably, you're not looking in a favorable way, you are have a good opinion of it. It's one of those things where within English there's meaning buried into a different way of saying something with the same word. Yes.
So my question there would be is like there's, as I understand it, a number of words that you can use for but
Yes.
in Japanese. This is called
Yeah.
demo,
Discuss.
shikashi, kedo, right? So I didn't see it anywhere.
The ga functions as a but in this case. Usually it precedes the comma. It's the most direct. It's most direct equivalent to comma but. Demo usually, not always, but usually go at the beginning of a sentence. It is akin to but also like however. In the same way that you wouldn't have in an English sentence a however after a comma in the middle of a sentence. Does that make sense? I mean, you can, but
You
it's
can,
preceded by a semicolon.
But I understand what you mean that the however is a little bit more grand.
Right, and demo, yes, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, but the suruga, that's the however?
No,
No.
the ga is
The
but.
ga right
The,
there.
Don't
the
mix it,
ga of
however.
the suru? Ga?
Handan suru is to judge as the verb.
Yeah, so suru is the verb to do. And so the handan part is judgment.
Judge.
Suru makes it a verb to judge. Likewise, like benkyo is study or studying. Benkyo suru is to study. It's to do the act of studying.
But ga is like written formal. I don't use it in a conversation. So if it's a conversation, this is more informal. Kedo. だけど、なんとかだけど。なんとか。でも。これも、okay, so these are formal. しかし is also, saying.
In verbal.
No, it's written. You can see it written, but
Maybe in the meeting.
like formal business meeting.
Yeah,
type.
business meeting.
Yeah, but you don't talk to
To my friends.
even the boss. You don't. ちょっとなんかね、話です。
Is it because shikashi is too formal, like a little
Yeah, it's a
too
formal.
Right. This is
Like-
why I've heard it, but typically like watching period pieces or something like that. Like if we're talking about like samurai or something, like a movie with samurai in it, like
true.
I've heard
That's old.
shikashi, like
Yeah.
very rarely thrown out.
Yeah, maybe like a company presentation, written report type stuff. So for casual conversation でもこうけどなんとかだけど、行きたいけど勉強しなきゃいけないとか、なんかoh let's go to eat 行きたいけど、なんかI want to go but I can't. なんかそうけど。行きたいな、でも勉強しなきゃいけないからいけないみたいな。Okay, so that's that. So it's settled, but it's there. And then 私は, and 私 is gender neutral. I refer myself as 私 in a conversation. There's 僕、俺、私. I recommend you to know watashi.
That's Michelle-san.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, please.
Older men say washi.
Sure.
Michelle-san, what do you want to say?
Isn't Adashi like more girls often use?
Adashi,
Yes.
yes.
It's very
I don't
like,
use.
Yeah. It's very
Boku
like
would-
young
I
girls
use
say
boku.
Adashi.
Boku would be more, I mean, it's not exclusive, but I think Boku is more male.
Yes, more for male, some
For male.
girls.
Girls don't say.
Well,
Yeah.
I've heard it, but it
I don't know. It depends. Like,
depends on how you want to portray yourself.
I remember asking my my Japanese professor at UF about boku, and I vividly remember being like, yeah, boku is like kind of like boyish.
Yeah.
Like I think of like a little boy when I
Yeah.
hear boku. That's what she told me.
Yes.
So like,
So we're all grown up people, so
Watashi
would
makes
be.
the most sense.
Ore sounds a little rough.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's, I mean, cartoon. I've heard that.
cartoon in cartoon
いやいや普通に。
普通には
聞いたことなくはないけど。
いる日本人の男の人だったら俺さ昨日さ
あ、まあカジュアルな。私がやったかっていう。
とか俺昨日言っただろうとか上の人が下の人に言うときに俺とか
はい、ということでいろいろある。You might hear many variation of it, but this is most polite and safe. So let's keep it that. 私は心と思い。See, you see the 心 here. I don't know why it's on top, but this bottom part of 思い is heart.
field of the heart.
Yeah.
So what is kokoro and omoi? What
So
do they-
heart,
But
is,
which one is heart?
this is 心 is heart, 思い is mind. So Kevin, you pointed out.
Because the kanji, like the radical on top is like it's like
For field.
not right
It's
there.
a rice field.
Yeah. So like field of the heart.
No.
Which is really, yeah, makes sense. Yes.
So that transliteration would be more akin to heart and mind. Kokoro to omoi. Heart and mind.
So heart and mind, so it's connected, right? Because what you think in the heart is what you have in your heart is what you think about it, right? So even though all English or other languages say heart, I feel like Japanese it has like a depth, like about the judging heart, how saying heart and mind. I mean, seem like a little more depth to this verse, which is interesting, and I'm curious to see what the original Hebrew. I've never learned it, but I think it would be very interesting to see what the original text would say about this verse or maybe other verse. Maybe something to learn. Yeah. So 心と思いを見る。これね、さっきの to look, right?
So miru, is that look?
Yeah, to look.
So that's kind of like Spanish in a way.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Miran,
Miru.
Miro.
Oh, yeah,
I make the
that's
same.
good.
It's como miro.
Yeah. Yes.
And
So-
so
Mira.
karada.
Mira,
見
miro.
るからだ。見るから。
Oh, it's all together.
So miru is to look, right? Harada, this is the end of, you can say this, like,
It's a less formal way of saying desk, I think, right? Normally?
I think it, but you don't see it. This is more written. Sometimes this is, right, a little more formal or polite, but this is not, this is informal, but you see more in written format than speaking.
So is it like it is, or?
So there are ways of desk is your basic is M or R, but depending on the seniority of the people in the conversation, there are more or less formal ways of saying something of that nature. And somebody speaking from a higher level of authority to someone lower down might use the less formal, not because they're trying to be, easygoing, but rather because it's the implication of this person, like for example, a student would be here versus this person's a teacher. Whereas by contrast, the student wouldn't use that same ending when speaking to their superior or an employee to their boss or something of that nature. They'd use the more formal version by comparison.
So if you were asking if somebody like looked at something, would you say like miru karada would you add the ka there?
So when you're being less formal, the ka is not always essential
Okay.
because what can often be picked up on is the voice intonation. In the same way with English, you don't necessarily. Sometimes you can just tell whether something's a question or not based on how you are the tone of voice you're using when you end the sentence.
But if you put ka at the end, it becomes question.
It becomes a question,
Yeah, that's
right? Yeah.
what I wasn't sure if that was the way it would be
You can put it there, but it is not necessarily essential.
necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you don't put ka in this.
And this one,
Yeah.
no.
No.
Like if you want this cut, you hear it, but this one, that is definite. Like you don't change, you don't combine with but. Also, kara is like because the reason it's there is, I chose David because I chose David a lot context-wise, right? So because of this, because I looked at their heart, people's heart. So if you're just thinking of looking at the one sentence, that you can't really see because you don't see what's behind and what's before and after. But if you read the first email 16, you can see the flow. It does make sense why it has karada because the piece in this sentence, this verse. So it'll be interesting to read that first email. Okay. はい。ということです。Do you have anything?
Oh no, and you already covered it, so I was just gonna
But
stand.
if I were in like a train station, and I was asking someone something or saying something I wouldn't use that karada.
In train station, no.
No.
Or hotel desk, you use.
Yeah. Okay. Just if it's more like casual or.
Or verbal expression.
But if you are the guest in a certain context, like a hotel or restaurant, then the person who is serving you is going to be typically using more formal Japanese than you would be expected to say. Granted, you can say as you wish because you are the guest, but it would be very unusual and inappropriate for a waiter or waitress or a hotel worker to use an
so
informal way of
informal.
speaking to you
Yeah.
because you're the guest, and that's once again those implied levels of was not necessarily authority, but just a general idea of seniority.
Yeah, and even though the worker says the most respectful way, if you don't use those respectful words, it's rude. That's it. But you really don't see that in Japan. It would be very rare.
And then it gets complicated because Japanese words conversation is very structured with who's higher,
Right.
who's formal, who's older, and is she or is he or it's all context. It's all context. We use different ways of expressions. So
It's beautiful, but
it gets complicated.
But you don't
even for Japanese people.
Yeah, because you can respect the person by lifting them high or you lowering yourself. That's different ways. But you don't have to worry about that.
Japanese has kept a lot more of its implied hierarchy within the language more so than English has. English used to have more of that, but time.
Spanish or French, Latin language has.
Yeah. Though even in that case, even French is more, has been more equalized than comparison before. Like for example, Monsieur and Mademoiselle used to be more sort of looking towards somebody who was, higher up.